Good morning, students. In last class, we have studied about the characteristic features of the hemichordates, as well as we have studied the diagnostic features, or otherwise we can call them as the fundamental characters of the chordates we have studied. That is having dorsal notochord, that means presence of dorsal notochord or notochordodorsalis, and the presence of the anal tail, and the presence of the pharyngeal gill slits, and the presence of the nerve cord, and also the bilateral as well as triploblastic, as well as we have studied an eucoeloamids, and also there are an enterocoeloamids, where embryonic bud is divided, is splitted, so you can call them as the enterocoeloamids. So next, coming to the classification of the chordates. So here the chordates are divided into the chordates. So coming to the chordates, the chordates are classified into three subphylums. These are classified into three subphylums. The first one is subphylum, that is first one is the urochordates. First one is an urochordates, and the second one is the cephalochordates. And a third one is a subphylum, that is Vertebrate. So these are the three phylums where they are classified. That means the phylum chordates are classified into three subphylums. That three subphylums are the first one is the subphylum what is urochordates, second subphylum is the cephalochordates, and the third one is a phylum Vertebrate. So here the urochordates, uro means a tail, cord, chordates means notochord. So here the notochord, that means in these organisms, the notochord is presenting notochord is present. Notochord is present in the tail region. So such type of organisms are called them as urochordates. Examples are Herdmania, and Sweetquist or sweet potatoes, Selpa. These are the example of the urochordates. Examples are Herdmania and Sweetquist, sweet potato, and also Sclapa. So these are an example where we can take in place an example for the urochordates. That means euro means tail, chordates means notochord. These are the organisms which presence of the notochord is presenting in the tail region only. So such type of organisms are called them as urochordates. And second one, if you see in the second one, cephalochordates. Cephalo means head. Chordates means a notochord. Here the notochord is presenting, the notochord is present throughout the length of an organism. In this organism, in this organism, notochord is present throughout the body or throughout the life. Here this notochord is presenting throughout the length of the body. Here notochord is presenting, so we can call them as the cephalochordates. Cephala means head, notochord means, so that means chordates means a notochord. So these are the organisms which consist of the notochord is presenting from head to throughout the body. It is presenting throughout the life. These notochord is presenting. Then such type of organisms are called as the urochordates. An example, if you see in here a branchiostomas, we can see as a branchiostomas or amphioxis. Branchiostoma or amphioxis are called as amphioxis, are called them as lacentlets. They are called as lacentlets, S-A-N, lacentlets. Here the amphioxis or branchiostomas, or we can call them as the amphiostomas, are called as the lacentlets. So these are the organisms where we will having the notochord is presenting only from head region. That means from head to through the entire body or throughout the life, the notochord is presenting. Then such type of organisms we can call them as the cephalochordates. And if it is a chordate, notochord is confirmed only in the tail region, we can call them as the urochordates. Next, a phylum, a vertebrata. So here the vertebrata, already we know that vertebrate means here we will having a different these the vertebrates will having this is the largest phylum chordates presenting, it is the vertebrata, it is the largest second largest phylum. It is the second largest phylum, that is vertebrata is the second largest phylum present in an animal kingdom. So here the first largest is an arthropodons, and second largest, if you coming to overall animal kingdom, the second largest is the vertebrata, or otherwise the second largest the phylum in invertebrates. In invertebrates, which is the second largest phylum, means here we can call that as the molluscans. The molluscans are the second largest phylum in invertebrates. So here difference we have to know. Which is the second largest invertebrates means molluscans. Which is the second largest phylum in animal kingdom means in animal kingdom it is the vertebrata is the vertebrata is the second largest phylum. Now coming to the silent features of subphylum, the vertebrata. What are the characters are presenting in a phylum, a subphylum, the vertebrata? Now will be discussed. So sorry, coming to this the urochordates. Here the example is Herdmania, Herdmania. Herdmania is an example for the urochordates as well as an ascidians. These are an example where we can say as the urochordates. In last I have missed that spelling mistake is presenting. Next, coming to the silent features of the silent features, silent features of subphylum vertebrata. So here the subphylum vertebrata, the silent features of a subphylum, the vertebrata. The first one, the notochord. In the cellular notochord, the cellular notochord is replaced by a cartilaginous or the bony vertebrates, bony vertebral column or bony vertebral column. That means in this organism, the notochord which is presenting that the notochord is replaced by a cartilaginous, that is a cartilage, either it is made up of, the vertebral column is made up of either a cartilage. If they are made up of cartilaginous, so we can call as a cartilaginous vertebral column. If they are made up of a bone, we can call as bony vertebral column. Next, here that means notochord is replaced by a cartilage or by a bone of the vertebral column that will be taken a place. So here in this the second one, if you see in here the anterior part of the anterior most part of notochord, the anterior most part of the anterior most part of the notochord, the anterior most part of the notochord is developed into a brain. It is developed into a brain, and the posterior part is developed into spinal cord. The posterior part developed into spinal cord throughout the length of an organism. That means here the anterior part is developed into a brain. Here the brain is the main part present in the notochord, and the posterior part will be developed the spinal cord. From spinal cord through the vertebral column, it is extending from head to the throughout the length of the body, that is up to a second lumbar region. That means that spinal cord will be enters through the vertebral column, that will be enters into the second lumbar regions. These are presenting. And also here the third one, here the brain which is presenting, brain is surrounded by brain box, or otherwise we can call them as the cranium. That means brain is protected by a specialized box. That specialized box we can call them as a brain box, or we can call as the cranium. So due to the presence of the cranium, so they justify the name. They justify the name as the vertebrate. That means the vertebrates. The vertebrates justify the vertebrates are justify the name as the craniates. The craniates. Why the vertebrates are called as the craniates means the why vertebrates are called as craniates means due to the presence of the brain is protected by the specialized box. That box we can call as the brain box, or we can call as brain box or a cranium. So due to the presence of the cranium, here the vertebrates are also called them as the craniators or craniates. Craniates means it is surrounded by a specialized, the brain is surrounded by a specialized box, so we can call them as a craniates. Next, coming to the next one, here the locomotor organs. If you see here the locomotory organelles, the locomotory organs are the fins. Fins are, we can call them as the limbs. So here the fins are the limbs or the locomotory organelles which are presenting in the phylum Vertebrata. That means here we will having the locomotor organs are the fins in fishes. The locomotor organs are fins, that is the pelvic and pectoral fins, and in other organisms will having limbs, 4 digits, that is having 4 limbs are presenting, 4 legs are presenting. So they are the limbs which are presenting, either fins or limbs or the locomotory organelles presenting in the Vertebrata. Next, coming to the next point we will discuss now. Next, coming to the 5th one, the skin is different. The skin is divided into 2 regions such as epidermis and outermost layer. Here epidermis and outermost layer of epidermis and inner layer the dermis. That means here the skin is differentiated into 2 regions, such as the outermost region we can call as the epidermis, and the innermost region we can call as the dermis. And the epidermis is acts as exoskeleton. The exoskeleton where it is modified into exoskeleton, where it is modified into scales, feathers, hooks, claws, nails, and hooves, and the hooves. In some the dermis is modified. In some the dermis is modified into scales. So here outermost layer which is presenting it is made up of scales, feathers, hooks, claws, and nails are presenting. And next one, the consisting of the pharyngeal gill slits are presenting. There is a presence of the pharyngeal gill slits at some stage of life history. So here will consist of the pharyngeal gill slits are presenting. These pharyngeal gill slits are presenting in vertebrates at some stage of their life cycle, will having either in embryonic stage or in the adult will having the pharyngeal gill slits are presenting. So it is also one of the silent features of phylum, subphylum Vertebrata. Next, seventh one, if you see in seventh one, the nostrils are a single or the double. If the nostrils are single, we can call them as a monorhinous. Monorhinous or a dirhinous. That means we'll having a mono means a single nostril are presenting, we can call them as a monorhinous. If they having two nostrils, we can call them as a double nostrils, or we can call as dirhinous. And here the heart is made up of the circulatory system is the circulatory system is a closed type. Here it is the circulatory system is a closed type. Closed type means here we will having the blood is passes through the blood vessels through different parts of the body. So here the heart will pump the blood, that from the heart it passes, the blood will passes through the blood vessels such as arteries, veins and capillaries, and again that is carried by the veins to the heart. So here through the blood vessels, if the blood is passing, so we can call them as a closed type of a circulatory system. So in all vertebrates, will having a closed type of a circulatory system is presenting. And also here heart is made up of, heart is divided into a two-chambered heart, a three-chambered heart, as well as the four-chambered hearts. The heart is divided into a three-chambered, two-chambered, three-chambered, as well as the four-chambered heart. It is differentiated. So that is present in the circulatory system. And here respiratory pigment is the hemoglobin is an respiratory pigment. Due to the presence of, due to dissolving of hemoglobin in the plasma of the blood, here it appears as a red color. In all vertebrates, the color of the blood is red. Why means due to the presence of hemoglobin that is dissolved. Hemoglobin is dissolved in the plasma of the blood. During the dissolving of plasma of the blood in the, that means due to dissolution of the hemoglobin in the plasma of the blood, it appears as a red color. Next, if you see in here the excretory organs. Here the excretory organs are the kidneys. Here the excretory organs. The excretory organs. Excretory organs are the metanephric kidneys. Metanephric kidneys. That means a well developed kidneys are presenting. These kidneys will excrete all waste materials from the body, and they send outside through the anus. These are sent outside from the body. So we will having all vertebrates, all subphylum vertebrates will having a metanephric kidneys are presenting. And also here the excretory system and the reproductive system, they are closely associated. The excretory and reproductive organs, the excretory and reproductive organs, reproductive organs are closely associated to form a urogenital system. To form a urogenital system. That means here uro means urine. Genital means genitals. That means here the urine and semen is produced from the same duct only, so that we can call them as a urogenital system. This urogenital system is presenting in the male organisms. In the females they are separately they are presenting, but in a male, in all vertebrates, that is male organism, will having a urogenital. Uro means urine. Uro means urine. Uro means urine. Genital means the sperms. That means the sperm and urine are produced from the same duct only, so that we can call that as a urogenital system. So these are the silent features where they are presenting in all vertebrates. So these are the characteristic features. These are, we can call them as the silent features of the subphylum Vertebrata. And it is divided, the subphylum Vertebrata, it is divided into majorly into two subclasses. So what are that? Now will be discussed. Now coming to the subphylum, Vertebrata is classified into two divisions, two divisions. Into two divisions, divided into two divisions, such as the subphylum, that is superclass Agnatha, and the second one is superclass Gnathostomata. So here it is divided. That means the subphylum, the Vertebrata is divided into two subdivisions. That is, not classes. These are divisions, subdivisions. It is division 1. That is, the second one is division 2. So here this subphylum Vertebrata is divided into two divisions, such as one is the Agnatha and second one is the Gnathostomata. So A means absenting. Here A means absent. What absent means here? Gnatha means the jaws. Here the jaws are absenting in this organism. In these organisms, jaw is absenting. So due to the absence of the jaw, these are called as jawless vertebrates, or jawless vertebrates. We can call them as jawless vertebrates. And also here we'll having, these are also called as monorhinons. Mono means here these are also called as the monorhinos. Mono means a single. Rhina means nostrils. So if the organism consisting of a single nostrils are presenting, and also the organisms does not having a jaws are absenting, so such type of organisms are called as agnathas or jawless and vertebrates. These jawless vertebrates, they are also called as a monorhinous. Mono means a single. Rhina means nostrils. If the organism consists of only a single nostrils are presenting, then such type of organisms are called as the monorhinous. So here in this monorhinous will consisting of the only one phylum, that is sorry, not phylum. Your class will having only examples are the cyclostomata. So here the examples are in monorhinous are the agnatas are the examples are the cyclostomatas. Here in this cyclostomatas example is petromyzon, and myxine. These are the two examples. These are the two examples where it is taken place in the cyclostomas, or otherwise you can call them as protochordates. Sorry, we can call as these as the first vertebrates. They are called as protovertebrates also. Why means here these are having these are the organisms which does not having jaws, so we can call as a jawless organisms are agnatas. A means absenting, Jnata means stomach, that is the jaws. The jaws are absenting, so due to the absence of the jaw, we can call them as jawless vertebrates, or a monorhinous will having a single nostrils are presenting, so we can call them as a monorhinous. Examples are the cyclostomas. In this cyclostoma, the examples are the petromyzon and myxons, or an example for the agnatas. And here Gnato means jaws. Here the organisms which consisting of a jaws, presence of a jaws. Here Gnato means jaws. So here the organisms which consist of here we can call them as jaw organisms, or we can call them as jaws. That means these organisms which consist of the organisms consist of jaws. The organisms consist of jaws are called as Gnathostomata. So here the Gnato means jaws. So here these organisms will having a jaws are presenting due to the presence of the jaw. These are called as jawed organism, or jaw containing organisms, and these are also called as amphiRhinos. We can call them as the amphiRhina. Amphi means both. They are here having a both. That means a doubled. Here will having two nostrils are presenting. AmphiRhinos are doubled. Here two nostrils. Rhina means a nostrils. The organisms which consist of two nostrils, so they are called as a dirhinos, or otherwise we can call them as an amphiRhinos. So these are the organisms where that are Gnathostomatas. These Gnathostomatas are classified into two super classes. It is classified into two super classes. One is called as a species, another one is called as a tetrapods. Tetra means four, poda means leg. So here it is classified. It is classified into two types. One we can call as the species, and second one is called as tetrapods. So species means the fishes are belongs to the first classes, super classes, and second one is the tetrapods. Tetra means four, poda means legs. So the organisms which consist of four legs, so we can call them as tetrapods. So here tetrapods will having four classes. One is amphibians, reptiles, aves, and mammals. So, now we will discuss that is a schematic representation of the subphylum Vertebrata, how these are classified. So, majorly the subphylum Vertebrata is divided into two divisions. One is called as agnatas, they are called as jawless organisms or monorhinas. Examples are cyclostomes in this petromyzon and amixon. Agnatostomata means having a jaws are presenting. So, the jaw containing organism we can call as gnatostomatas or amphiRhinas will consist of two nostrils are presenting. So, here it includes, it is divided into two superclasses. One is called as species and tetrapods. The tetrapods means will having four legs are presenting. So, we can call them as tetrapods. And these tetrapods again they are classified into four classes. One is amphibians, reptiles, aves and mammals. So, now we will go for a schematic representation of the subphylum Vertebrata. So, here coming to the schematic representation of a phylum Vertebrata. The subphylum Vertebrata is divided into two divisions. One is agnatas and second division is gnatostomata. And the second one is here agnata, it is classified into class that is called as a cyclostoma, and examples are the petromyzon and amixin. So, these are an example where we can call as the cyclostomes. We can example for this is we can also call them as lampreys as well as hagfishes also. Here we can call them as the lampreys and hagfishes, that is petromyzon and amixons. Next, coming to the agnatostomatas, it is classified into superclass. One is a species and second one is a tetrapods. Tetra means four. Poda means legs, having four legs are presenting. Again these are classified into different classes, that is an amphibians, reptiles, aves and the mammals, where you will having the four legs are presenting. The first two head, that means anterior limbs are called as forelimbs and hind and posterior limbs are called as the hind limbs. These are helpful for the locomotion in an organisms, where you are already studied, that is the locomotor organs are fins and limbs. So, due to the presence of four limbs, here these class we can call them as the tetrapods. There are four classes are presenting: class amphibia, class reptilia, class aves and class mammalians. So, now we will go for firstly, that is in gnatostomatas. In the class that is superclass, we discuss species. Here the species are again classified into, here species means fishes. Here fishes are present both in marine as well as the freshwater forms. So, based on the presence of the nature of the water, again these organisms are classified into two types. One is called as a chondriothis and second one is called as an osteothis. Here chondriothis means, chondrio means cartilage, this means the fishes, that means the organisms, they are vertebrates. That means here the vertebral column is made up of a bone, here vertebral column is made up of cartilage. So, this type of fishes are called as the cartilaginous fishes, and here it is made up of a bone. The vertebral column is made up of a bone, so that we can call them as osteo means bone. So, here it is made up of a bone. So, these type of organisms or fishes are called as a bony fishes. This means fishes. Here it is made up of bone, is here vertebral column is made up of bone. Such type of fishes are called as osteothis. If it is a vertebral column is made up of a cartilage, then we can call them as the chondriothis. So, here now we will discuss in this class, that is the first one is a species. Here the species are all are the aquatic forms only. These are all are an aquatic forms. Aquatic forms means they are either the marine forms or freshwater forms. So, now we will discuss the differences between the osteothesis as well as the chondroichesis. So here coming to the cyclostomes, these are an ectoparasites where they are presenting outside the living organism, outside the fishes. These are presenting and they will consist of 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits are taken place. And the sucking and mouth, here the mouth which is presenting, it is not surrounded by the jaws, so they are called as jaw-less organisms, and the scales are absenting, that means scales are devoid of the scales, that means scales are not be presenting. And also it will consist of the circulatory system is a closed type of a circulatory system is presenting, and these are marine forms. That means all cyclostomes are marine forms, but they move towards the freshwater during a spawning season. That means during a breeding, that means when the breeding season, when they lay, that means they produce eggs. During producing eggs, they move towards the freshwater and they lay eggs. After they producing enough eggs, they dies. Again that are hatched by the eggs which are presenting in the freshwater. They undergoes a metamorphosis and produce an young ones. The young ones which are produced, again that young ones will move towards the marine waters. So these are examples are the petromyzon, already studied the petromyzon, and myxine or lampreys or hagfishes. These are the two examples where, that is petromyzon and myxons are an example of the cyclostomes. These are the two examples where these are the characters that are taken place in that is a division, that is a class cyclostomas. So in a next class we will discuss that is the differences between the chondroichesis and the osteothesis, and later we will discuss that is amphibians. Okay, thank you.